The cross-country champions are Tyler Duncan, Brian Carrico, Patrick.
Yo, what is going on? This is Tell the Truth once again. Let's see if I can hold it right there and not move and not get upset, because I already can tell you right now, the way things are going today, I'm probably going to throw something. I'm probably going to blow a gasket, because unfortunately, we live in a society where people are not very smart. Oh, Snapchat, it was destroying. Same thing. Mute that. But it is what it is, dog. Shout out to everybody's coming in. I don't know where everybody's coming from. I know I'm on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, as well as I don't think I get any stats from Kick, but I am on Kick. So shout out to everybody that is listening and watching right now. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button wherever you are, the like button on YouTube. Let's go ahead and get this algorithm jazzed up. Let's try to get the word out. Let's try to get where am I at right now? I am currently, my subscriber count is 247. Let's try to get 300 by the 4th of July. I think I can get 400 by the 300 by the 4th of July. I think my schedule is going to be a little bit more agreeable with doing some more videos and streaming. So I definitely want to get back into making some standalone videos. I know I haven't done one in a while. Should have did one, because I just got my hair done. Finally, for the ones who have been seeing me, they know I have I've been looking rough for a good 2 months. So I guess I'll show y'all real quick. Now I gotta put everything back on. So I got the rituals done, and it's doing the thing. It's doing the thug dizzle. So put this back on my head and all that other good jazz. So I know we got the stuff going on with Caitlin Clark. We'll get down to that in a little bit. Before we start, I definitely wanted to go ahead and get out a few condolences. First of all, Larry Allen, offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys, passed away at the age of 52. And then another one that really hit close to me. Everybody knows that I'm a big wrestling fan. I support independent wrestling. Shut up, ABL. I'll get to you in a little bit, ABL. Man, shut up here. Making sure everything is paused right now for the time being. So, Dirty Money was a professional wrestler, very well known in the independent scene here in Virginia. I'll mute that just to make sure. No, I don't want to. Just want to show who he is. So this right here, Dirty Money, passed away either today, early today, or sometime late last night. So definitely sending out my condolences to his family, friends as well, guys that have worked with him. I saw it. I was sitting in my classroom, and I just clicked on the Instagram real quick, and I saw a post. It was a picture. It was Irvin Legend that posted it, and it was a picture of Irvin, Phil, and Dirty Money. So I saw Rest in Peace, and I initially thought it was Phil. And I was like, oh Lord. But then it came up to be Dirty Money, and it was like even more, oh Lord. Like, all these guys are great talents, and he's definitely be missed in the Virginia pro wrestling scene. So my thoughts and condolences go out to um Dirty Money and his family. Do you F with photosynthesis? No, I'm more of a mitosis guy. Now, mitosis, that's the real deal right there. So let's start off with the whole situation with the former president, who some may say he is the future 47th president of the United States. We will see come November. But last week he was convicted of 34 counts. Dealing, I don't even know all the counts and what all came about it. So I'm going to quickly kind of breeze through. Shout out to Nate the lawyer, who does a really good job of putting out the information, not really picking a side in it, just giving out the facts. And I think that's something that a lot of people, and we'll get into why I made that statement. But you'll see he's not going to give you anything but factual information and kind of allow you to formulate your own opinion on what happened with the former president. So here we go. Let's see if 1.25 would do.
Those are the words you're going to hear over and over again between now and November's election.
Donald John Trump.
Don't choke.
Is a convicted felon.
Now, just throwing out this one piece of opinion here, I don't think this is the win that the Democrats think it is. Just looking at the way his campaign has made even more money due to the findings of the case of him being convicted. Now he just raised over $300 million just last month. So, and it feels like the more they do to him, the stronger his campaign gets, the more people are coming out in support of him. So I don't think this was the idea that they thought it should be, but we'll see come November again. I'm not going to give out an opinion on who I think is going to win. I don't care, like trash versus trash, but who are me to judge?
We have gone over a cliff in America. This verdict is a verdict of someone who was forced to fight a 1,000-pound gorilla with both hands tied behind his back. We have convicted a former
Hercules likes to yap, Yapules.
president of the United States of America. We've gone over a cliff.
Okay, so we have the left wing saying this is the greatest day in American history, and the right wing saying this is the darkest day in American history. Let's just look at the facts. Okay, so if you haven't heard, former President Donald Trump was convicted on 34 counts of falsifying business records in the state of New York. So the first thing I'm going to do is just see how each side is covering the story. Now, this is Ground News. It's an app that combines related news stories from all over the world and all over the political spectrum and puts it in one place so it makes it easy for us to see. Now, the best thing about Ground News, it shows you the political bias in the media. You get to see stories on the left and right and see how they are covering it. Look at some of these headlines on the left. Lock him up. Trump is now a convicted felon and the Chicago Crusader. Hallelujah. Maxine Waters rejoices that Trump was convicted in a hush money trial. And on the right, you have things like Kangaroo Court convicts Trump in NYC Soviet show trial. Here, you even have Timcast from here on YouTube. Trump was found guilty on all counts. Trump was rigged. Case was fake. Now, the great thing about Ground News is that you don't have to go all over the internet looking for the articles. They aggregate all the articles in one place, and there's over 600 articles on this Trump situation alone. Now, this is one of the best things about this app is that you get to see all of the media bias all in one place. And then if you just want to read one of the articles, it takes you directly there by clicking read the full article. So let me do something crazy. Let me try to pull back and let you determine if the left side has it more correct or the right side has it more correct. Now, if you're a fan of getting the full picture, go to ground.news/Nate. That's ground.news/Nate. You'll get 40% off unlimited access. Now, let's cut through the crap and try to see this Trump trial without the media bias. So to accomplish this goal, we are going directly to the documents. This is the indictment. This is a statement of facts that led to the indictment, and these are the jury instructions. Now, let's start with the indictment. Trump was charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree, which is a violation of New York Penal Law Section 175.10. Even though there are 34 counts in this indictment, this indictment really only encompasses 11 transactions. Now, to understand that aspect of it...
So that's weird. It's only 11 transactions we're talking about here, but they found a way to get him on 34 counts. And I'm seeing here in Bloomberg, they're saying that his sentencing is going to be on July 11th. So we'll see.
We have to move to the statement of facts. The statement of facts actually tells you what facts led to the charges in the indictment. For instance, they start off by mentioning that former President Donald Trump had an agreement with American Media Inc. That is the company that handles the National Enquirer. Now, at the end of paragraph 7, it says that the National Enquirer, who's owned by AMI, admitted in a non-prosecution agreement, that's an agreement not to prosecute them, that it made a payment to a source, that source is Karen McDougal, of a story to ensure that the source did not publicize damaging allegations about the defendant, Donald Trump, before the 2016 election, thereby influence that election. I don't care what anyone else is telling you. This whole conviction and this whole trial came down to one particular story. That Stormy Daniels story, and the fact that Michael Cohen paid her $130,000 to sign an NDA. As you can see here in the statement of facts, Cohen created a shell company called Essential Consultants LLC. Michael Cohen then took out a $131,000 line of credit on his house, and then transferred $130,000 to Essential Consultant LLC. But now, how is Michael Cohen going to be paid back? He was out $130,000. So Michael Cohen then started negotiating with the Trump organization, saying that, hey, I have a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels, and then I have another $50,000 in other expenses that I haven't been paid for. So I need to be reimbursed a total of $180,000. But now, here's where things get complicated. See, if they just paid Cohen back $180,000, Cohen would have to pay tax on that money, which is about a 50% tax rate. So out of $180,000, he would only get about $90,000. So the Trump organization agreed to pay Michael Cohen $360,000, double. So when he paid his taxes, he would get $180,000 back. And then because Michael Cohen was a good employee, they gave him a $60,000 end of the year bonus. So that made a total that Michael Cohen was going to be repaid $420,000. Now, to pay Michael Cohen back, the Trump organization decided to cut up the payments into 12 installments of $35,000 a month over the course of a year. Now, each payment would be labeled legal services rendered for that particular month. So, for instance, the first payment that was in January would be labeled as legal services that Michael Cohen rendered in the month of January. Now, the Trump team had confirmed that this was the plan. For instance, here's Rudy Giuliani and former President Trump explaining how this all worked.
And Michael Cohen?
Why isn't that? Where's Mueller on that, sir?
Having something to do with paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000, I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry.
So their side, so I guess they're saying that the money wasn't campaign money. So it should have never been a situation if I'm comprehending correctly what is going on here.
I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation.
So they funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through the law firm, and the president repaid it.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yep.
There's no campaign finance law.
Zero.
So the president,
just like Sean.
So this decision was made by
everybody was nervous about this from the very beginning. I wasn't. I knew how much money Donald Trump put into that campaign. I said $130,000. He's going to do a couple of checks for $130,000. When I heard Cohen's retainer of $35,000 when he was doing no work for the president, I said that's how he's repaying. That's how he's repaying it, with a little profit and a little margin for paying taxes for Michael.
But do you know the president didn't know about this? I believe that's
he
what
didn't
Michael
know about
said.
the specifics of it, as far as I know. But he did know about the general arrangement that Michael would take care of things like this. Like I take care of things like this for my clients. I don't burden them with every single thing that comes along. These are busy people.
Did you know about the payments?
Later on, I knew. Later on. But you have to understand, Ainsley.
Yo, it's so hilarious. TikTok just put up learn about the U.S. elections. No, I don't want to learn about the U.S. elections right now.
He did. And they weren't taken out of campaign finance. It's a big thing. That's a much bigger thing. Did they come out of the campaign? They didn't come out of the campaign. They came from me, and I tweeted about it. You know, I don't know if you know, but I tweeted about the payments. But they didn't come out of campaign. In fact, my first question when I heard about it was, did they come out of the campaign? Because that could be a little dicey. And they didn't come out of the campaign, and that's big. But they weren't. It's not even a campaign violation.
So this confirms that there was an arrangement. Trump and Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, said Trump knew about the arrangement, and that since this money didn't come from campaign contributions, it was out of Trump's own pocket, there was nothing illegal with this arrangement. The FEC and the federal government also agreed with this assessment because when they investigated, they
Fed an investigation into Trump. Okay, so they're agreeing with what Trump was saying here. So
cleared the Trump organization of any wrongdoing. And here is a former commissioner of the FEC explaining why this was okay.
Hi, I'm Hans von Spakovsky. I'm a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, but I also spent 2 years as a commissioner at the Federal Election Commission. That's the federal agency responsible for enforcing the Federal Election Campaign Act, which regulates how candidates for federal office raise and spend money. The supposed campaign finance violation that the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York is claiming is actually not a violation of campaign finance laws. Here's why. In order for the rules
all right, so y'all heard it there. In order for the rules to apply, it must be a campaign-related expense. So if it wasn't a campaign-related expense, what are we doing?
To apply, it has to be a campaign-related expense. The Justice Department only once before has tried to claim that these kind of payments are a campaign-related expense. That's when they attempted to prosecute John Edwards. Remember that case? Contributors to John Edwards actually paid money to his mistress, who actually was working for the campaign and had his child. A jury did not believe these were campaign-related expenses. And in fact, John Edwards had 2 former commissioners of the FEC there to testify these were not campaign-related expenses. In fact, when the FEC audited his campaign, the agency itself concluded these were not campaign-related expenses. So this really is not a problem for the president, even though Michael Cohen is pleading guilty to this, because the U.S. Attorney's Office is basically being over-aggressive on this issue. If you take their views to its extreme, it would mean that any time a candidate pays off a legal claim against it, that's a campaign-related expense. Well, that's the case. Remember, in 2017, it was reported that members of Congress have paid over $17 million to pay off almost 300 claims made against those members of Congress for sexual harassment and other claims like that. If the U.S. Attorney's Office is right, then all those would be campaign-related expenses. Why? Because those payments were meant to silence the people making the claim so that the candidates would not be embarrassed. And obviously, there's potential violations of campaign finance law. Why? Because taxpayer money was used to pay off a campaign-related expense. That just shows how irrational the view is of the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York, and how far outside it is of the usual view of campaign finance law and violations under it.
Now, over the next 11 months, Michael Cohen was issued one check per month for $35,000, 11 checks in total. Now, with each one of those checks came an invoice, and the company recorded it in a ledger. Now, if you do the math, that's 33 counts. But the reason why there's 34 counts is because on the first check, they made 2 entries into the general ledger and only issued 1 check. So now we've seen the government's side of the coin, what they're alleging, why they're alleging it, and why each count is.
Okay, so I guess that was where the 34 counts come from. So let me run it back real quick, just so I can make sure I know.
Under it.
Now, over the next 11 months, Michael Cohen was issued one check per month for $35,000, 11 checks in total. Now, with each one of those checks came an invoice, and the company recorded it in a ledger. Now, if you do the math, that's 33 counts. But the reason why there's 34 counts is because on the first check, they made 2 entries into the general ledger and only issued 1 check. So now we've seen the government's side of the coin, what they're alleging, why they're alleging it, and why each count is what it is. But now let's talk about the defense. Now, the first claim of the defense is selective prosecution. The Manhattan DA who prosecuted the case, his name is Alvin Bragg. He actually ran on a platform to, quote unquote, get Trump. And again, his platform was he is going to get Donald Trump.
And we are together with Alvin Bragg today, running for Manhattan District Attorney to try to remove Cy Vance.
Him saying that, I definitely see why someone would raise eyebrows at that. Again, I don't know. I'm over it, but that's where he's coming from.
I think who Cy's been sitting on the gig for a couple of decades, right, Alvin?
He's a decade. He's going on 12 years at the end of the term. So
12. So I have my issues with Cy Vance, and there's things that I believe he hasn't done well. But one of the things leading into this vote for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, I know a lot of people are wondering, whoever has this job, are they going to convict Donald Trump?
Look, that is the number one issue. We know he's investigating. And what I'll say is I was the first to announce against Cy Vance. I too have a lot of issues, which is why I decided to run. I'm the candidate in the race who has the experience with Donald Trump. I was the chief deputy in the Attorney General's office. We sued the Trump administration over 100 times for the Muslim travel ban, for family separation at the border, for shenanigans with the census. So I know how to litigate with him. I also led the team that did the Trump Foundation case. So I'm ready to go wherever the facts take me and to inherit that case. And I think, it'd be hard to argue with the fact that that'd be the most important, most high profile case. And I've seen him up front and seen the lawlessness that he can do.
And you believe it should happen?
I believe we have to hold him accountable. I haven't seen all the facts beyond the public, but I've litigated with him, and so I'm prepared to go where the facts take me once I see them and hold him accountable.
Now, the second claim may not be as obvious, but the Trump team is saying that these were legal services. Let me explain. Michael Cohen was Trump's lawyer, and Michael Cohen was tasked with negotiating settlements with people who made claims against the president. So when Stormy Daniels made this claim against Trump, Michael Cohen went in and did exactly what he was paid to do: negotiate a settlement, make the payment, and then get reimbursed for that payment. Legal services rendered. Now, the third argument was pretty simple. This was Michael Cohen's job for the past 10 years. Michael Cohen was known as Trump's fixer. So this wasn't anything special for the campaign, but something they had been doing for years. Now, even though morally it may seem suspect, but Donald Trump didn't want his wife and family to find out that he was having these affairs with these women. This wasn't in the furtherance of the presidential campaign.
Which is, as like I said, as unethical as it is, this isn't really one. It doesn't seem illegal, but at the same time, it doesn't really fall off brand with a lot of billionaires. So y'all know this is stuff that this goes on. Matter of fact, one of his closest friends, Vince McMahon, is dealing with the situation now where he had an affair with a woman, and there was an NDA and blah 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 blah. So this is nothing really new. So let's see.
Campaign, which would be illegal, but this was a man who wanted to keep his secrets from his wife. Immoral, yes, but illegal, not so much. Trump's last argument, which most people think is the strongest, is their argument against violations of the Federal Elections Campaign Act. The campaign finance law piece is extremely, and I mean extremely important, because the New York state government had to prove that Trump and the Trump organization violated federal campaign finance laws. If the New York prosecutors can convince a New York state jury that the Trump organization violated the federal election law, then they can charge Trump and the Trump organization with felonies instead of misdemeanors. The Trump team's argument is simple. As CNN reports, the feds actually cleared the Trump organization of any campaign finance violations in regards to these payments to Stormy Daniels. But now you have a jury in New York State sitting claiming that, yes, the Trump organization did in fact violate campaign finance law. So on one hand, you have the federal government saying, yes, the Trump in regards to these payments to Stormy Daniels. But now you have a jury in New York State sitting claiming that, yes, the Trump organization did in fact violate campaign finance law. So on one hand, you have the federal government saying, yes, the Trump organization didn't violate federal law when it comes to campaign finance. And now you have a state judge with a state jury saying, well, we believe that he did violate federal campaign.
That's where the controversy really comes in for me now, because you got the federal government saying no, but then the state government saying yes. So there's the clash if you ask.
Finance law. So now, in less than 20 minutes, you now know everything you need to know about why Trump was convicted on 34 counts of falsifying business records. Let me know how you feel in the comment section, because half the country believes that this was a just verdict and he should have been convicted, but the other half thinks that this was a sham verdict. You heard all the arguments. Let me know in the comment section how you feel. Who do you think has the better argument? Should he have been convicted? Should he not have been convicted? Don't forget to like.
So there y'all go. Y'all have all the information y'all need to have about that. So done with the whole Trump thing. Let's go ahead and move on to something that we can all say now it was a hoax and it was fake. We had the wrong information. So y'all remember a few weeks, just last week, we had a guy where he was on a Zoom call with the judge, and the judge asked him, was he driving? He was like, yeah, I'm parking the car now. And so the judge said that he was driving on a suspended license. No, he was not driving on a suspended license. So let's see what Chiseled Adonis. Shout out to the homie Chiseled Adonis. Let's go ahead and listen to. Pretty sure this is gonna be kind of hilarious. I'm gonna try to drop it only to 1.25. Let's see.
Days ago, I made a video in response to one of the funniest videos ever dropped in the history of all court proceedings, where a gentleman by the name of Corey Harris just so happened to be pulling up to a virtual courtroom for driving on a suspended license while currently behind the wheel with full clear view by the prosecutor and the judge.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
You didn't say that. This is a driver with a license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And he didn't have a license.
Tell me you did not just say that.
But in a shocking turn of events, turns out man's license should have been reinstated, and the suspension on his license should have been rescinded 2 years ago in January of 2022.
Wow. 2 years ago is crazy. I can speed him up now. 2 years ago. Wow.
Years ago, but they didn't.
Damn. Boy, that escalated quickly. Bust out the Crayolas and color me tickled pink, Batman. Evidently, back in October of 2023, when Mr. Harris got pulled over, he was flabbergasted, astonished, hoodwinked, he felt, as the officers told him that his license was somehow still suspended.
Detroit Corey Harris is talking about the Saginaw County friend of the court suspending his driver's license for child support, something he says he resolved 2.5 years ago, and a judge in Saginaw County rescinded that suspension, allowing Harris to drive again. So he says he was shocked when Pittsfield Township Police cited him in October for driving on a suspended license.
Well, that begs the question, how is it that this man was driving between the months of January 2022 up until October 2023 under the assumption that the suspension on the license had since been lifted? Why did he never have it lifted?
The Saginaw County friend of the court has not responded to our calls, but according to a spokesperson for the Secretary of State, friend of the court never sent over a clearance in 2022.
What? You know what's even wilder? Take a look at the document that had the citation number. Underneath, it said his license was suspended in 2010. Up until when it was supposed that the suspension was lifted in January of 2022.
Suspending his driver's license for child support, something he says he resolved 2.5 years ago, and a judge in Saginaw County rescinded that suspension.
Steve McQueen made 12 years a slave. Evidently, for Corey Harris, it's 12 years with no license. How the fuck you supposed to go that long without being able to drive? However, this brother was dealt an injustice, and apologies need to be sent in his direction. Because how was it from January 2022 up until October 2023? This man was unaware that on file, his license was still showing as suspended, and for that, we should all collectively call for the courts to apologize to him.
It was supposed to have been lifted 2 years ago, but they didn't.
You will apologize, and you will like it.
The apology needs to be as loud as the disrespect. And everybody who has clowned his brother for pulling up on Zoom behind the wheel when the purpose of the virtual hearing was about him driving with a suspended license needs to come out and apologize. But wait a minute. You got pulled over in October 2023, right? So that's when it came to your attention that for whatever reason your license was still suspended on paper. Then between October 2023...
Hold on! You bringing something up. Hold on now.
Up until May 2024, it was already common knowledge in your brain that your license is somehow still showing as suspended. Well, if that's the logic, you can no longer be astonished anymore because it's already been brought to your attention after they pulled you over then.
The process can be complicated.
The Secretary of State's office did not get a clearance from the court that everything was done, but something happened in the wires.
Well, this is the time where we go off the script.
So that now makes me curious. Between that 8 months from when you got pulled over to when you pulled up in the hearing, you were well aware of the fact that they're aware that your license is somehow still suspended. So why would you get behind the wheel?
Harris admits he was driving to get his wife to the doctor, but what we can't understand is why his license was still suspended 2.5 years after the judge ordered it lifted.
Mr. Harris, that is an incredibly noble thing for you to do, given your wife has declining health at this point, which is a very unfortunate situation. She's got to make it to her medical facility one way or another. If there's no alternative transportation that is readily available to you, you're not going to sit there and watch your wife continue to dwindle in her failing health. You're going to do what you got to do as a husband and get her to the facility, and that is the right thing to do, brother. However, you also knew that you were supposed to show up to this hearing virtually at this time on this date. Why did you tune in to this Zoom meeting with your camera on? You could have showed up with the camera off and said, well, there seems to be some sort of issue with my phone or perhaps with my laptop, whatever the case may have been. You verbally ask, can you restart your phone or whatever the case may be? Not because you actually have an issue with it, but because you're trying to buy time to when you're stationary. Why would you join into the hearing all while moving? Why? What we're doing is acknowledging the stupidity of you showing up to a hearing in which the whole discussion is about you driving with a suspended license while behind the wheel when you knew 8 months prior when you got pulled over, they stated your license was somehow still suspended when it was not. Don't put yourself in the line of fire, sir. That's why the people were clowning you. They're not clowning you because you were done wrong. Everybody can acknowledge that two things can be right. You are a victim of the courts not clearing the lift on the suspension on your license. However, you're also a victim of your own stupidity, sir.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody.
I knew Chisel Adonis was somehow, some way going to bring it all full circle. Because I did have that thought of, wait, was there a way that he knew that this was the case? So now that we know that this is something that's been going on for over a year, that does bring up that question too.
Like dumb, I'm smart.
And you see, this is the problem that we got in the society right now, because accountability just appears to be lost across the doggone board. Like I stated prior, two things can be right. It's not the fact that this brother was done wrong by the courts. It's not the fact that this brother was doing the noble act of taking his wife to the doctors. It's the fact that we're sitting over here and making it seem as if this couldn't all be avoided had he just tuned into the court proceedings, tuned into the hearing with the camera off, and then delayed until he was stationary. Furthermore, he incriminated himself even more by going and saying, oh, give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
You didn't say that.
This is a driving while license suspended,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and he was just driving, and he didn't have a license.
Tell me you did not just say that.
Why would you say this? They knew this was about a suspended license. Why? See this? What exists inside of this head? That's called a brain. Turn it on. Flip the switch. Activate the powers. I promise you only good things will happen. Use your head. What you did was stupid. Use your common sense.
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Don't get me wrong. I believe this brother deserves and has earned his restitution. So whatever they possibly owe you that you're able to tie them up in litigation for, by all means, go and get it. But that does not mean the court of public opinion has to sit here and issue apologies for you being stupid. Now, granted, you seem to be a man of good character. Not only looking after your wife, you also happen to be a man of faith.
Yeah.
Type of ties that I have with the church and the community is very embarrassing.
So much immense faith to where you give as much tithes as you do. You're active in the community, things of that nature. That is very noble of you. So for that, we will call off the executioner of Mr. Benoit, and we will call on the powers of the deacons in the very church that you just so happen to provide tithes to. And there's only one way to set you straight for the acts of stupidity that you did pulling up to the hearings and the court proceedings while on Zoom video driving in the vehicle. And that is to set you straight with a beat down of fist. Get all the deacons with black suits and rain justice and accountability upon this man at once.
Looks like someone's a little lost.
Like that, man. That's what you get. Because you think it was dumb to pull up behind a wheel with your camera on when the judge can see you? And the whole purpose was about driving with a suspended license? You stupid! Beat him again!
Leave this lot, losers, unless you want a licking. And we'd love to deliver that licking. Right, fellas? Yeah. I'd love to lick a lemon lollipop in Lilyhammer.
Like that, nigga. I banish you to 3 days, 1 full weekend with no interior plumbing inside of your house. Gentlemen, take a shit in his toilet. Do not flush. Let it marinate. It's gonna stink up in Mr. Harris's house.
What? And what the fuck is that smell?
We may never know is why the prosecutor in Pittsfield Township or Harris's public defender could not get this resolved months ago before he landed in jail. His attorney's office declining to comment on an ongoing case.
You will apologize. I can't say the same about his public defender. Chris!
Here comes the United States champion, Chris Benoit. Look at this, Rey Mysterio. Oh!
Let's go ahead and get to the reason why we are all here. So, a lot of y'all probably have never really watched WNBA basketball a day in your life. I grew up watching a bunch of basketball. I was watching a lot of WNBA, a lot of NBA. So I grew up on the times of Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, those women. Never was, I don't believe, even during that time when I was watching, I had a backyard basketball. So that's really what got me into watching Lisa Leslie as well, along with my cousin who also played basketball. So I don't think ever there was a time where I remember the WNBA getting nearly as much publicity as it is getting right now. Yes, we are understanding that the publicity is really coming from one woman, and the media is just like, can I say, glazing her to an extent. Like, I get it that Caitlin Clark is without a doubt the most popular woman playing basketball right now. A lot of it does come from her, what she did in college. Basically, what she holds the scoring record, regardless of gender. So there's that. So I get it. She's a great player. I've watched her play a few games. I've seen the numbers of people that are coming to the games. Her jersey is selling like crazy. I get it. And to an extent, I understand how that can not really sit well with certain people, because it's like, yo, we've been balling like this for years and never did y'all care. Y'all just wanted to joke and say all these things, but these women have been balling for years. Matter of fact, Candace Parker was the rookie of the year as well as the MVP all in her rookie season. Nobody cared. Brittany Griner, she made waves coming into the WNBA, and then she got to the WNBA, and it's like she fell off the face of the earth until the situation happened with Russia. So I get why there is a bit of a little bit of a pushback, and I think more so is a jealousy angle, because it's, you just got here. Why you like being treated like the second coming of Jesus? And then somebody actually brought up a whole video where it was kind of similar in Cleveland with the Cavaliers when LeBron James was drafted. You had guys like Carlos Boozer, Smush Parker, and they were basically talking about how let me see if I can find this video, because it was very interesting when I saw it, because it definitely gave a good parallel, if you ask me. Now, I can't find it. But it's all good. So let's go ahead and listen to Black Conservative Perspective again, and I've come to realize when he starts talking about things that's not political, he makes a lot of ooga booga takes. So here we go. Here we go.
I think there's a bounty on Caitlin Clark because I've never seen a rookie treat like this.
Sky were playing the Fever today. Sky score, and Caitlin Clark's waiting to get the ball. Watch this. Watch this. What is going? And there's Angel Reese celebrating. We'll get to that in a second. This is. I don't. What is this? What is this body check? And also, where are her teammates running up to her? The ball wasn't even in play. Where are Caitlin? Oh, she's just gonna walk away like this? And then before you get mad at me for Angel Reese, watch this. She was seated down. Caitlin Clark gets hit, and Angel Reese starts celebrating. Why?
Watch Caitlin Clark get hip checked by Chicago Blackhawks, Chicago Sky player, and tell me if you truly believe this is a basketball play or they're targeting her. You guys want to tell me with straight face there's no agenda against Caitlin
All right,
Clark.
just let y'all know I did watch the video. I just want y'all to realize everybody's losing their mind over this hip check. Dirty, yes, but just watch how the reaction to another situation that involved another rookie. Watch his reaction to that.
With a straight face.
Kind of on the play, we're bumping in with Caitlin. It seemed like she
Just
turned you a little
keep
bit.
that- Keep that in mind as we continue through this video, because I stopped the video at this point because I knew I was going to flip because of how ridiculous it sounded.
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions. Did she say anything to you? I don't know what she said. What'd you say to her? I didn't say anything. That's nothing.
Kennedy Carter hurts the WNBA. It's delusional. It's delusional. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's damn near stupid. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, it's like these women cannot be serious at this particular point in life. Clear racism. They clearly don't like.
Boom, right there. Shout out to Hotep Jesus. I love this term. The woke right is just as bad as the woke left. Because racism, keep that in mind.
Women. Clear as day. Clear as day. I'm getting tired of people not calling it what it is. These heifers don't like white women. Simple as that. It's no science. It's no rocket science to this.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Unfortunately, we have to follow up on this story that I did yesterday about Caitlin Clark, okay, who is the superstar of the WNBA. She is quite literally the MVP of the NBA in the true sense of the definition of the phrase MVP, most valuable player. Like, there is no other player in the WNBA that is more valuable than Caitlin Clark because she's
And it's so funny, the people that are doing the most glazing of Caitlin Clark right now are people that don't even watch the sport.
bringing the league money, okay? And, you know, it seems like, unfortunately, a lot of these women and also these fans, these people that claim they're fans, they are trying to do everything they can to ruin the WNBA and the opportunity that these women claim that they want it. But they don't really want it now because they're getting it in a way that they don't like. They're getting it because of a straight white woman coming into the league and balling like Steph Curry on them, right? They don't like that, okay? They don't like that. They'd rather a black lesbian woman be the face of the league and to bring the league to superstardom.
And that's the other thing, like, they cry about their love always bringing up all these identity politics, but then they just throw all these other things. Y'all are just as bad as the left, and it's infuriating and sickening to sit here and look at the woke right is what I'm going to keep saying now, and just sit here and cry about this, that, and the third, racism. They want to Carter Rose up there looking stupid. I mean, I guess. But it's just hilarious that they're using they're playing the same game. And I truly get more and more why people will come out and say it's two sides of the same coin.
Rather than Caitlin Clark because of her identity, right? Now, this is not something I'm making up. Okay, this is not speculation. This is something that has been stated by women in the mainstream level media and also by WNBA players themselves. Okay, they are jealous of her. Okay, they do not like the attention that she's getting. And because of that, they basically want to destroy everything that they asked for, now that they're getting it, by trying to hurt Caitlin Clark, okay, trying to bully her out of the league. And what is more
that's the other part. Basketball, you're going to have dirty plays. You're going to have dirty players. Meta World Peace. What's that annoying guard that plays for everybody now? Those who watch basketball, help me out here. That annoying guard. He played for the Lakers. He played for this team. He played for that team. He's always playing for Patrick Beverly. The light-skinned bald guy. Jared Dudley. Draymond. How did I forget about Draymond? Draymond should have been the first name that came out of my mouth. So, can we please stop with this narrative? The women get just as physical, if not more physical, than the guys. And you'll see it again in a few minutes.
pride than Trinity Clark being dumb enough to try to hurt the lead superstar on purpose are some of the reactions on social media essentially defending
trying to hurt on purpose. But again, I'm like foreshadowing to probably dumbest take. I'm sorry, Leon. I know that you think the dumbest take he's made was the one about the Creole situation, but this might be up there too.
This, okay, and trying to go after the people that are saying, hey, this is not a very smart thing to do, okay, you shouldn't be trying to bully Caitlin Clark out of the league. It's not smart for various reasons. And also other people coming out and basically saying, well, it's a basketball play, right? Caitlin Clark needs to toughen up. It's just basketball. Again, the response is,
it's not a basketball play. It's dirty, but that's basketball.
To this situation are an IQ test, right? It really does tell you how smart somebody is, and it also tells you whether or not they actually care about these women, okay? Because if you're smart and you actually care about these women, you cannot excuse the cheap shot that happened against Caitlin Clark. It just wasn't a smart thing to do, okay? And it was not a basketball play. But again, that doesn't stop some people, right, from coming out here and to trying to pretend like, oh yeah, this is just basketball. It is what it is. Not a big deal. Stop coming to Caitlin Clark's defense.
When it comes to this game, these incidents specifically, what'd you think?
Wow. Well, I think there are multiple things to consider here, right? First of all, what we don't see on the replay, what we haven't seen on any replays is that before Kennedy Carter kind of shoved Caitlin Clark, there was definitely dialogue between the two of them on a previous play. What was said, I don't know. Kennedy didn't want to talk about what was said, but it's not something that we haven't seen previously. One thing about Caitlin that I'm starting to learn is Caitlin likes to talk in these games, right? She likes to talk. She's a competitor. That's what competitors do. Competitors talk.
And anybody that's paid attention to Caitlin Clark in college knows she's a trash talker. Caitlin Clark gets down and dirty with the best of them. Can we stop this whole narrative? Like, I've been watching enough games of Caitlin Clark in college to know that Caitlin Clark ain't this clean-cut baby face that doesn't talk trash during games. There's enough videos out there. I'm going to show you another video that brings up some of the things that Caitlin Clark does. She's not just out here head down, not saying nothing to nobody, and just getting attacked for no reason.
On the basketball court, the problem is because of the heightened sensitivity that some people have around Caitlin, when players react to the noise that that she rightfully so brings, it gets this narrative built that people are purposely trying to do things to hurt her, or they're jealous of her, or they're hating on her, things of that nature. And realistically, it is players doing what players do. It is competitors doing what competitors do. The officials did the right thing by making the call on the play. If they called it flagrant,
Yes, again, I'm going to keep reiterating this. It was a dirty play. It should have been called a flagrant foul. I don't know if it was a flagrant foul, flagrant one. If anything, it was a flagrant one. We've seen worse fouls in the NBA. We saw what led up to the malice at the Palace. If anybody don't know, go watch it.
I don't remember them calling it flagrant, but if they did, it is what it is. That's the call that they made. It's not the first time that we've seen this. We just saw in the Chicago game against Connecticut that Alyssa Thomas was put out for a flagrant 2 ejection on Angel Reese. He's
going to bring that up in a second. That's the one I was telling y'all is ridiculous.
It is basketball, right? And I think that it has to start being perceived that way because it just doesn't feel fair to continue to say that these things are done purposefully when we don't know that.
We don't know if it's being done on purpose, right? I mean, this is what they're saying. Fascinating stuff, okay? It's just basketball, okay? Just one of the many dumb takes here. But don't worry, we have some smart takes. People who actually are smart and are athletes that play basketball, yeah, they know what's up, okay? And we just got to get through the dumb takes first, okay? And address Trinity Clark, who is speaking out about it.
Yeah, we got to get through the dumb takes, guys, especially this dumb take.
Lashing out because of the backlash that she's getting. But let's address some of these stupid takes here, right? This person says, Caitlin Clark is no victim. She's a flopper. Basketball is a physical sport, and Caitlin is now in the WNBA. She needs to tough it up or get that F out of the league. This Caitlin victim narrative being used by the media and racist is tired, sad, and pitiful. Trinity Clark played Caitlin the same way Caitlin played her, and Angel Reese is supposed to cheer for her teammate. Okay, so what you guys understand here? Apparently,
all right. So I will say it was a little crazy for her to be cheering for that dirty play. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm an Angel Reese guy, but that was crazy.
Cheap shotting somebody is appropriate because of trash talk, right? This is the mental gymnastics that these people are going through. They're saying, well, it was justified, the cheap shot, because Caitlin Clark was talking trash. She's a trash talker, right? The woman in that video I just played basically tried to imply the same thing. Oh, it's totally fine. Caitlin talks trash, so therefore it's okay to cheap shot her, right? This is this is the argument, okay? And apparently as a teammate, you're supposed to cheer when your other teammate tries to cheap shot the MVP of the league.
All right, let's watch this here. You get a foul from Caitlin Clark. She hits someone in the back of the head. Okay, turns around and talks shit. You get a...
No, I need to see this.
Foul from Caitlin Clark. She hits someone in the back of the head. Okay, turns around and talks shit. She's talking shit back down the court. All right, cool. It's all good. Caitlin Clark, up there, number 22, watch top of the screen. Gets beat back door, pushes. Goes out.
I mean, this guy's just making up stuff, right?
So she's a physical player. It's a physical game. She's a physical player. Okay.
Making up stuff that Caitlin Clark is doing because she deserved it, right? This is essentially what they're implying here.
Loses her on defense, loses her woman on defense, gets beat, gives up the bucket, and then now the reaction. Now look at the reaction.
Is, will they call it
tough hit,
necessary?
tough
Kennedy
foul,
Carter
and a flop.
and
Y'all mad
Clark.
at this? She flopped. That's a flop. It's a nice
I mean,
tough
that's
push.
all which was called. The
But that's
question
what
is, will they
happens
call
when you
it
talk shit. Especially when you talk
unnecessary?
shit.
Kennedy
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like she didn't really see it. Okay, I'm not sure how you flop when you didn't really see it. But again, they're accusing Caitlin Clark of flopping, right? She's flopping, and they're also making.
Now I don't know if that one was a flop, but there's another video out there where she's clearly flopping.
Argument that, well, again, it was just basketball, right? This happens all the time in the WNBA. You guys are just making Caitlin Clark the victim, right? She's playing victim, and it's like, well, you got to understand, there's a difference between playing victim when you're not a victim and actually being a victim. I think that it is appropriate to say, hey, somebody is a victim when they're actually a victim, okay? But again, there's a difference there. A lot of these people really don't understand it. But again, one of the stupider things I'm saying people do is that they're basically saying, well, you guys didn't have a problem when Angel Reese got fouled hard. And they want to reference this play right here. Okay, so as you can see here in this play, Angel Reese here, in the act of trying to get a rebound, is going to get dragged down, okay? She's trying to get a rebound, and she got dragged down, okay? Now, again, what do you call this? This, in my opinion, you could argue...
It's called a flagrant.
...is a basketball play, right?
You said that's a basketball play. The woman is off her feet, and you pull her back, and she falls and almost lands on her head, and that's a basketball play. Y'all can't be serious. You can't be this dense to think that a basketball play, she got shoulder checked. She got hip checked. So Caitlin Clark gets hip checked, she falls. That's worse than a woman, or not forget the fact she's a woman. Forget the fact she's a woman. Bro, stop yelling. No. This basketball player goes up in the air and you yank her, pull her back down, and she falls. And that's the basketball play, but being hip checked is the problem. Which one would you rather be done? Which one would you rather be done to you? Get hip checked, or you be up in the air and somebody yank you back down and you fall on the hardwood floor? Please tell me. Please tell me, because clearly somebody don't understand which one is a lot more dangerous to a basketball player. Like you really can't be you can't be up here with your 794,000 subscribers and be this stupid. This is why maybe when Laura Ingram says, shut up and dribble to LeBron James, maybe political commentators should shut up and stop talking about sports. Stay out of sports stuff because you don't know what you're talking about half the time, because now you look ridiculous now. Stick with your political stuff. Talk about Trump's and his arrest and all the stuff like that. I'll listen to that. But when you start talking about sports, you sound ridiculous. I'm done with that video. I'm going to ABL. Shout out ABL. Because at least I think ABL know what he's talking about. So save the conservative party. Save the conservatives, ABL.
Delete the race card. I wanted to delete it, but it's still here, so my job is not done. Apple asked me, opinion on how WNBA is treating Caitlin Clark. Some unknown player body checked her in today's game. Another gave Caitlin the elbow. Still another hooked her arm. Don't they know Caitlin's their cash cow? Now, okay, if you guys don't know what's happening, I'll be brief. Caitlin Clark, rookie WNBA basketball player. That's the women's league, obviously. She is the all-time leading scorer in women's NCAA basketball history. All time, and just graduated and just got drafted to, what's that, the Indiana Fever, I believe. There's a lot of attention The WNBA has skyrocketed in viewership. You're talking about 400% increase, 300%. Like before Caitlin Clark, this is one player. These girls were still traveling just regular. You might see a WNBA basketball player on a flight with you on Spirit or Delta or something like that. Nothing wrong with flying like that, but that's not how the men travel, obviously, because the men are going to generate more money, more viewership, and everything else. But ever since Caitlin Clark, they've been getting chartered flights. They've been getting crazy viewership, crazy attendance. It's up, up, up. And of course, being a new girl, being a new kid, you might get bullied. And then, of course, some, not all, but some women are going to be jealous. They're going to be envious of the new girl getting attention. And if you call me a liar, you're just not being honest. Now, some think it's about racism because Caitlin Clark is white and the league is 70% black and also LGBT bull daggers. Caitlin Clark is white and heterosexual. She's straight. So they're saying that it's
I do know he's going to use that term a lot. So this is a video that if that's the term that offends you, I'm not using it. This is ABL.
Race issue and also a gender identity issue. This is an argument I hear a lot of times from the left. They say, oh, it's because I'm this color. It's because I'm straight, I'm LGBT or whatever. But now it's kind of going the other direction. But there's been a lot of bullying. There's been a lot of hard fouls and whatnot on Caitlin since she's come in. Now, I'm going to show something that's kind of been going on. All right, I'm going to show this here.
Clark.
Now, you see the girl right here in the blue jersey. Caitlin Clark's right there in the red, and the girl just comes up to her and shoulder checks her. Boom, hit her on the ground. Like out of nowhere.
I mean, that's clear all which was called.
And you see, look, she's coming up to her, talking, yip-yapping, and then...
The question is, will they call it
boom,
unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
Now, some say this is because Caitlin Clark is white and majority of the players are black. That's so silly. Listen, this is sports. This is sports. I've seen this happen in the men's game, in the women's game. There's a lot of hard fouls, cheap shots, just rough stuff. And if anything, it's going to be some jealousy because of how popular Caitlin Clark is.
Thank you. If anything, it is a jealousy issue because Caitlin Clark is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most popular woman in the WNBA. It ain't got nothing to do with the fact that she's a white woman because there are plenty of other white women in the WNBA. It's because she was the greatest basketball player to come out of college according to her scoring. So anything is a jealousy thing because now these women are not flying Spirit or whatever they're flying charter. They're getting all the stuff. Now they're probably going to make more money come next off season because of what is going on. Well, based off the numbers, she's the most popular. She's the jersey sales. I think her jersey is selling better than most men. So that's why. Overrated. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not going to call it overrated because again, I haven't really watched enough games, and she's only played. I don't think she's played 10 games yet, so it's hard for me to even say she's overrated. But yes, when you look at the numbers, the Indiana Fever is where she plays for. They have been the most watched team. They are the most attended game, even in a very small market. They have the top attendance out of all WNBA games, and it was nowhere near that last year prior to the drafting of Caitlin Clark. Well, I'm just using the words. I'm just using the words that they're saying. They're calling her the most popular, the MVP, blah, blah, blah. So when I say this stuff, I'm just using their words against them.
He comes in the game. Now all of a sudden people are watching. If not for Caitlin Clark, I wouldn't even be talking about them right now at all. So a lot of these girls, they've been there for a while. We've been here playing for years and years, and now all of a sudden you're getting attention. She's not that good. I'm going to show her. It's like, it kind of reminds me of what Jordan was going through in the beginning. It's all of that kind of thing.
Thank you.
But people just think black or white, it must be racism. But that's not true. It'd be the same way if it was the other way around. If it was a majority white league and the black guy came in dominating and then the white players are doing this. Because this goes on all the time. There's always hard fouls. There's always the new kid, rookies getting treated a certain way. It's always like that. Now, I'm going to show you what else happened during the game. It's not just that one particular thing. Caitlin Clark had been kind of going back and forth with the girls before that.
All right, let's watch this here. You get a foul from Caitlin Clark. She hits a woman in the back of the head. Okay, turns around and talks.
Sorry for the cussing, but so you can see Caitlin Clark is in there getting rough with the girls, right? And then she turns around and talks to the girl that had wound up knocking her down later. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just, oh, I'm standing here, I'm playing basketball, not doing anything, and I get shoulder checked. Nah, we're talking, I'm talking, you talking, and that's just what it is.
Dominating. She was dominating college. She's not dominating the WNBA right now. She's had some growing pains, I know she's turned the ball over a lot. A lot of people saying a lot of the turnovers aren't her fault. But right now, she is trying to find her footing within the league. So she's not dominating right now.
It is. Okay, turns around and talks. She's talking back down the court. All right, cool. It's all good. Caitlin Clark up there, number 22. Watch top of the screen. Gets beat back door. Pushes. Goes out. Loses her on defense. Loses her woman on defense. Gets beat. Gives up the bucket.
And then the girl talks back because that's just what it is. It's called sports. You talked. Okay, you scored on me. Caitlin scored on the girl. Caitlin talked. The girl scored on her. She talked. They're going back and forth. This is called sports.
And now the reaction. Now look at the reaction.
Is what they call it.
And then that's how this kind of happens, right? That's how that happens. You didn't see the whole play before that. You just saw the play after. That's all. It's simple. It's simple.
And it's so funny how the same people who want to find all the context. What's the context? What's the context? What's the context? What's the context? What's the context to the death? But then they don't want the context when it's time to kind of find a context, something that kind of pushes back at their narrative.
And we're talking about NHL, the whole thing with the skate. Now, the whole thing with the skate, just because the guy was black, I mean, ask yourself this question. Has there ever been a thing like that on the ice before? And if you say no, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. Look up your history. I challenge anybody talking about the NHL guy that hit the guy with the skate in the neck, the black Knicks, whatever NHL player. Ask yourself, has that gone on before in the NHL where somebody got deleted right there on the ice? And the answer is yes. And it wasn't a black guy that did it. But it's easy to see one incident, the most recent thing, highlighted by the media and just say, oh, well, it was a racial incident. I mean, look, you're playing hockey. You have on razor sharp skates. They're allowed to fight. And look, they're allowed to fist fight in hockey. They do the checking into the window. And sometimes it could be accidental. It could be on purpose. It could be whatever. But I can guarantee you that wasn't the first time someone was deleted, not just injured badly, but deleted on the ice. There was actually a case in the early 1900s where there were murder charges brought, but they were eventually dropped. Murder charge, not murder, not manslaughter, but it got dropped because somebody got deleted on the ice in the very same way. But because it wasn't a black or white thing, there's no way to sensationalize it. Therefore, you don't know about it. You understand? Okay, and then we can talk about Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. Okay, we can talk about that. If you guys don't know about that, this was, 1994? Tanya Harding had Nancy Kerrigan attacked with a lead pipe on the way out to the actual ice skating rink. Now, Tanya Harding did not do it herself. She had her husband or boyfriend and his friend do it. Okay? Like, they went to jail behind that. The husband and the boyfriend, they went to jail behind that. They actually got locked up behind that. And that was, everybody involved was white. But again, it's not a way you can sensationalize that and make it be about playing the race card. I don't like playing the race card at all. I don't care if it's black on white, white on black, whatever kind of color on whatever kind of color. I don't like playing the race card. Now, here's an example of another rookie in the WNBA getting hated on, Angel Reese.
This is the one I was waiting on right here. We talked about it again. So let's see the difference between this conservative and the last conservative.
Now, Angel Reese is beautiful. Some of you guys might not like Angel Reese in the way she looks, but I think she's gorgeous. And you know how women are. Not all.
She's too young for me to be saying that, dog. Come on.
Not all, but some. When you got a really pretty girl and she's getting attention and the other bull daggers on the court are not getting attention, they're not going to like that. And she's a skilled basketball player. They're not going to like that. So as a result, she's a rookie. She's getting targeted too. But because she's black and the majority of the league is black, there's no race card to play. Okay? Now here's Angel Reese. If you guys don't know.
Let me get these shoes off of that. You can't do that too long.
Now that's Angel Reese. Now, for me, she's just fantastic. Real tall, athletic, pretty, really pretty girl, right?
And Angel Reese is a beast in the paint. If y'all haven't been seeing, she think she now has the record for most offensive rebounds as a rookie. So shout out to her.
And as a result of her being tall, pretty, skilled basketball player, women are going to hate. All right. Now, let me show you what happened to her. This is recently, just a couple days ago. All right. She's playing. And that's her right there with the ponytail. And then one of the bull daggers, one of the existing bull daggers in the WNBA, clotheslines her.
I don't know if she. Now, I don't like the fact that he's using this term for somebody who we don't know if she is. This woman could be straight for all we know.
Clotheslines her on her neck. Look at this.
Kind of wicked right there.
So Angel Reese is under the
So that's a flagrant too. So anybody who knows basketball knows. Anytime you foul somebody up and above in the neck and above area, especially if they're up in the air.
And then to her left, she's going to get clotheslined by one of the bull daggers.
Got to be an upgrade.
So right here, anybody knows. And then she, like we saw plenty of times already, the fall, that's a flagrant too. So I do believe she was ejected for this.
Look at the hand on the neck right there.
Again, this is a basketball move. Right, Gregory?
Great. Look at that. I mean, she's grabbing her neck.
Nowhere near a basketball.
Yeah, and then pulls her down.
So is there a race card to be played here? Or is it just sports, competition, hard foul, bull dagger, jealousy, envy? How is that any different than what happened to Caitlin Clark? It's all the same. But sometimes when there's no race card to play.
No, it's not the same because at the worst, what happened to Caitlin Clark was a flagrant 1. That was a flagrant 2. She got hip checked. There was nothing going on. It was dirty. I will give her. I will say that much. It was unnecessary. At the same time, flagrant 1, she'll take 2 shots, get the ball. Flagrant 2, you're out of there. So I don't know why people are trying to act like this is the same thing. Caitlin Clark was not anywhere near as much in danger as Angel Reese was in that video.
You can't really, you can't say, oh, it's because she white and they're black. It's dumb, man. I hate the race card when it's played. I'm really just kind of tired of it, to be totally honest. When I first started doing YouTube, my intention
it's because you got the woke right trying to be like the woke left. And it's a woke war, like they try to say, whoa, it's a woke war.
Was to kill the race card. I wanted to delete the race card. I wanted to delete it. But it's still here. So my job is not done. My job is not done. Yeah. So yeah, it's a chokehold, a clothesline, stranglehold, looking like WWF out there. WWE, yeah, exactly, Rex Rocker. It's basketball, not WWE. Right. So that's my thing, man. At a certain point, they're playing sports. And sometimes you got hard fouls. You got things like that to go on. And yeah, Bill Lambier. Hey, shout out to Bill Lambier. One of the OG enforcers in the league, a white guy. And nobody said...
Here you go. I already see the article now. They upgraded the foul on Caitlin Clark to a flagrant 1. Exactly. It was a flagrant 1. Just like the one on Angel Reese was a flagrant 2. Look at this picture right here. Michael Jordan. And it was so funny because I was saying it in school today. And I don't think nobody understood what I was talking about. Because I was saying, like, there was a time where the bad boys would just sit there and beat up Michael Jordan. Beat up Michael Jordan. And as you see right here, I think this is Bill Lambier beating up Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was absolutely bullied in his early stages. This is basketball. There's going to be dirty players. I brought up a lot of them. Draymond Green. It is what it is. She'll be okay. She's a baller. Stop trying to white knight all the time, bro. Y'all are embarrassing. Golly. That's all I got, man. Y'all white knighting for this girl. She is a baller. She know what she got herself into. She is having the time of her life. She is going to be fine. I would say she will probably be a multiple time MVP down the line. I don't like to use the term, but she's getting hazed. It is what it is, man. Stop crying all the time. Peace, love, hot sauce, drink your water. I'm out of here.
Flow, already fried from the get-go. Alligators look like gecko. Everything I